Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we have another fantastic versus on our hands. Two outstanding secondary weapons, the Dex Furis versus the Aksomati. Now these two weapons have the similar topology for the most part. They play mostly the same way, but their main source of damage is different. The Aksomati is heavily weighted into critical chance and the Dex Furis into status chance. But other than that, they're rather similar, but don't take my word for it. Let's have a look at them stats. So we're gonna begin by a quick stat comparison, then we're gonna be jumping into a couple of builds, then we're gonna be drawing our conclusions. Here's the main issue with the Dex Furis, however, it's not available all the time. This one can only be obtained during the yearly Warframe celebration. You get it for free, but up until then, you can't really get it. So there's that. Accuracy is the same. For my 2 cents, it doesn't really matter. If the accuracy was something around 28, 30, something like that, then it would be viable for Magnum Force. But if you're gonna put on Magnum Force on any of these weapons as they are now, then most of your bullets will be landing completely off the crosshairs. And you're gonna say, well, I don't care, I'm gonna be using it as a shotgun. Hey, if you wanna use it as a shotgun, sure, go for it. But for my 2 cents, it's not worth it. Critical chance, as you can see, only 14% for the Dex Furis, 24% for the Aksomati. Not only that, but the Aksomati has a critical multiplier of 3.0 instead of the quote-unquote standard, if you will, 2.0 for the Dex Furis. The fire rate, however, is a lot better, about 50% better on the Dex Furis. We got 20 versus 12.5, and the magazine capacity is larger as well. 100 bullets for the Dex Furis, 70 for the Aksomati. Both are alarming. Of course, you can quiet these down with the Weapon XLS mod slots in a future patch. Reload 1.4 seconds on the Aksomati, 2 seconds on the Dex Furis, so neither of these are slouches when it comes to reload speed. You shouldn't really have any sort of issue. Status chance, only 8% on the Aksomati, and this is the biggest issue with the weapon. Because as you might see, the Aksomati has the main damage set into slash, okay, that's the largest amount of base damage. But unfortunately, the base status chance is 8%. On the other hand, the Dex Furis has 28% status chance, but the main source of damage is puncture. You don't really want to proc puncture. Now, it's not useless. A puncture proc on an enemy will reduce the damage they deal to you, so it's definitely not worthless, but most players look for slash. So there's that. Let's have a look at that standard build, then we're gonna head on over to testing, and this will be a standard build for the Aksomati. The two standard builds for the two weapons will not be identical. It would be pointless considering they each have different strengths and different weaknesses. So when it comes to the Aksomati, we're gonna go damage with Hornet Strike, Multi-Shot, Battle Diffusion, Lethal Torrent, and we're gonna have an elemental combo of Corrosive on the weapon between 160-60 mod and 190 mod. We also got, of course, Prime Target Cracker and Prime Pistol Gambit. Now, my friends, I'm just trying to show what the weapon can do to the max without Rivens, okay, because Rivens are another kettle of fish. We're gonna discuss them just a little bit later. If you don't have the Prime mods, feel free to use the normal ones. It's not gonna make a fantastic difference. Well, actually it is, so there's that. Hydraulic Crosshairs is your option slot in the Aksomati, and I'll explain exactly why that is. Basically, your base critical chance is 24%. If you're gonna add Prime Pistol Gambit together with Hydraulic Crosshairs, your resulting critical chance is 101%, 0.28, if I didn't screw up the math. So basically, with these two on, you have guaranteed critical chance, and let's keep in mind that the Aksomati's main strength is critical chance and well, critical damage, but we don't really have any more room to include any more critical damage. What you could do is go for this mod right here, Sharpen Bullets. This one will get you 75% critical damage when aiming for 9 seconds. It's a non-kill effect, so you can plug it into Lethal Torrent. But from my testing, Lethal Torrent was still better. It's a huge DPS upgrade, especially considering we're going to be able to use ammo mutations in the weapon XLS mod slot that should be coming by the end of the month, if D doesn't mess up anything. So, there's that. Why the 90 and the 60, huh? Why did you do that? Why not 260-60 mods? Well, it's simple. It comes down to the IPS rules in Warframe. I want you to keep in mind that Impact, Puncture, and Slash, the free physical types, have a 4 times greater chance at applying a status effect over elemental types. Heat, corrosive, gas, you name it, it's got a lower chance to apply its status. So what I'm trying to do, if I'm building corrosive on my weapon, I want to proc corrosive. In my test, I'm going to be shooting corrupted heavy gunner, so corrosive is the way to go. Now, if you were going down on Fortuna, for example, just build gas. Gas is fine, gas is amazing, or even toxin. Straight up toxin will be more than enough to deal with Corpus. And against infested, heat is enough, trust me. The infested normally aren't really the most tough of targets, unless you meet level 400, 500, but that's a discussion for another time. Normally, the infested can just be killed with AoE heat weapons. For a secondary AoE weapon, I would recommend the Atomos. You can even try the Gaze, but take my word for it, go for the Atomos. Now, in this case, back to my corrosive and my elemental issue. As you can see, I'm barely matching puncture, okay, times 4 when it comes to a proc value, and I'm still behind Slash. I don't want to go 290 mods. That's something I don't want to do because I still want to have a little bit of that status chance, but 160, 190 from my testing was the optimum compromise, if you will. Optimal compromise. So, the benchmark, as per the usual, the Corrupted Heavy Goons level 120, and rest assured that Loki has no build on him. As you can see, no health, no shield, no anything, so he will not skew the test results, and we're gonna check that too. We're gonna go for straight headshots, and as you can see, with no Riven, but with Prime mods, because again, I have my guaranteed critical chance, I can absolutely melt one of these Corrupted Heavy Gunners level 120. Now, when it comes to Prime mods, my friends, trust me, you're gonna get all the Prime mods you need in Warframe, all of them. You just gotta have a little bit of patience. They will be brought by Battleketeer. And you might say, hey, I'm Mr. Impatient because I'm Mr. Money. Well, if you're Mr. Money, that's awesome for you. You can buy them from the trade chat. Okay, people charge between 50 and 100 plat for one of them. And as you can see, there is no question of power when it comes to this weapon. I got 70 bullets in a magazine, and I can kill one in about 50 to 60 normally, if I go again for straight up headshots. Now, let's be honest here. In a normal mission, you're not always gonna have straight up headshots, right? But if you're running a crowd control frame, there you go. I also get a couple of orange crits, and again, that is because I have 101.28% critical chance at this point. And as you can see, all the targets are dead, but not only that, I'm completely out of ammo. I got no more ammo. That's it. I'm unarmed. Okay, there. I picked up some pistol ammo. 60 off the ground. This is an issue, not only with the Dex Furis, but also with the Aksomati. So, a way to alleviate said issue is to give up on Lethal Torrent. Though, again, from a DPS perspective, I hate doing that. But pay per DPS and actual missions sometimes, well, sometimes, most of the time, don't really mix. So, the option is to drop Lethal Torrent and go for more critical damage. Okay, that will mean still very, very good damage per second, still very good damage out of the weapons, but less ammo issues, okay, when it comes to the Aksomati. And another issue is to say like, hey, I don't care, I want the max DPS, so I'm just gonna use ammo pads. You can use ammo pads. Don't want to use ammo pads? Is this too much for you? By the way, you can shortcut it, so you get like just a single button like that. The only I have for the energy. I have it on my mouse. It's really, really useful. If you don't want to use pads, you can always go to Carrier and Carrier Prime. Again, it doesn't matter if it's Prime or normal, and you can use the included ammo case mod. Increases ammo capacity by 25% and converts ammo pickups into ammo for equipped weapons after 2 seconds. Okay, so there's your fix. If you don't want to use something like ammo mutation on your weapon until the weapon XLS mod slots get here, and you don't want to use ammo pads as well. Anywho, I digress. So that was the Aksomati. Let's move to the Dex Furis. Beautiful weapon. Take a look at that. Just look at this beautiful weapon. You know what? Let me show you the flare. Take a look at the flare. Do you guys see that? Hold on. Stop. It flares in the symbols of the lotus, but it's hard to actually see it in average everyday gameplay. If you were to like slow down the footage in Captura, you would see that the gun nozzle flare or whatever it's called actually has the symbol of the lotus. It's super cool, but most people will probably not care. I care though, so there's that. Now for a standard build, we're going to be using this puppy right here, and you will notice it's different from the Aksomati because again, the strength of the Dex Furis is not necessarily critical chance, it's status chance. So again, we build the weapons to their advantage so we can get the best out of them. Now, if you guys want to see full and detailed build guides on the Dex Furis and on the Aksomati, link in the cards right now, my friends, you have all the info you need there. And a bit extra, too, for good measure. Damage with Hornet Strike, multi-shot as per the usual, Battle Diffusion, Lethal Torrents, Critical Chance, Critical Damage, Prime Pistol Gambit, and Prime Target Cracker. 260 mods, this time working even more into that status chance, and 190 with Toxin to further increase that corrosive, because again, I gotta bring it back to the IPS rules in Warframe, and there's nothing I can do about that bloody puncture. 100! I need a minus puncture Riven for the Dex Furis. Then I can build the most amazing Dex Furis. Yeah, gas that. Or I can even build the most amazing Toxin Dex Furis, but I need a minus puncture Riven. But more on Rivens later. So again, keeping in mind those IPS rules, that's why 260 is on 190. Even as it stands now, I'm like 100 behind puncture. But that's the best I could do. I'm not willing to sacrifice Lethal Torrent or anything else for another 90 mod. That would just be silly at this point. The benchmark one more time, my friends. The Corrupted Heavy Goons, level 120. Now, I did a whole video on why this level 4 targets. Trust me, it's the level. And as you can see, my friends, it's a beauty. It just shreds everything, man. I love this weapon so much, honestly. And I'm not the kind of guy to go gaga over secondary weapons or over status weapons in particular. But this weapon, it just sprays to death. Sometimes it overstrips. That is true. That is true. Yeah, it's gonna depend on the level of the target and what exactly build you have on it. But most of the time, as you can see, it just straight up deletes everything that stands in its path, and it guzzles ammo like nobody's business. I always feel comfortable playing with this weapon. It's the extra fire rate, to be honest, and it's the extra magazine capacity. But once again, as before, I'm out of ammo. Now I could run around with my carrier thinking like, oh my god, just give me a little bit more ammo, or I could just drop the ammo solution and that's it. You are done. And again, we are gonna have those weapon excellent spawn slots, and we're gonna be able to equip an ammo mutation, and that should fix pretty much everything. But as for the Dex Furis and performance, as you can see, my friends, it's a beautiful weapon, and the kill time is actually a lot better than the Aksomati. About 20% better. And of course, that is mostly because of the fire rate. Yes, but I also ran out of ammo before the Aksomati ran out of ammo. So there's that. Not that this was too much of a scientific test, because purely scientific tests suck. Because they're not really indicative of real world performance and experience. So you gotta kind of balance the math with actual gameplay in order to deliver the best, quote-unquote, the best build. And there's no such thing as the best build, but I think I digressed again. Anyway, let's draw our conclusions about these fantastic weapons. But first, a talk about Riven mods. Riven Dispo, my friends. Riven Disposition for the Aksomati is a glorious, absolutely freaking glorious 5 out of 5, and you're going to be able to get absolutely outstanding Rivens for the Dex Furis. The Rivens are A Furis Rivens, okay? That's what you want on the Dex Furis, A Furis Rivens. Now this one has plus puncture. I kind of resigned myself to this Riven. I was like, okay, I give up, you win, we're just gonna use puncture as a main. Critical chance and -2. I mean, look at that, 214% critical chance on a +3, -1 Riven, -9%. It's beautiful. Too bad about the puncture. Now if that puncture was multi-shoot, that would have been beautiful. That would have been freaking beautiful. I mean, look at it right now. I got 70% critical chance on a base of, what was the base? The base was like something like 14%. Yeah, 14% on this one. Again, you're looking at 5 out of 5 Riven Disposition for the Dex Furis. When it comes to the Aksomati, the Riven Disposition is 4 out of 5. And to be honest, it's not a huge difference. But for the guys that want to have those insane Rivens, man, just to show off, look dude, I got 400% damage on my Riven, harder. You know, they're gonna go for the 5 out of 5 Riven Disposition. And in my opinion, the right Riven on the Dex Furis will be just insane, man. Just absolutely insane. The problem with the Aksomati is that base of 8% status chance is a lot more harmful than it may appear. Even with a fantastic Riven, I mean, if you get the best Riven for the Aksomati and the best Riven for the Dex Furis will be outperforming the Aksomati. That's the thing. That's just my 2 cents on it. But of course, if you guys got a Riven for either of the two, you should just go for that one. And as you can see, a Riven will be making a fantastic difference. I like the Dex Furis more. I don't know if it's because it's more exclusive, because you can't get it all the time, because it's more comfortable to play with, because it's more spray. I have no idea. I just like this one a whole lot more. But realistically speaking, if you prefer crit, you're just gonna go for the Aksomati, right? And if you prefer status chance, you're just gonna go for the Dex Furis. Again, this one is a bit problematic because you cannot get it all the time. It's got higher Riven Disposition, and both of the Rivens for these two weapons are not super expensive because, as you can see, they're not very popular weapons. Right now, when it comes to secondary weapons, everybody loves the Catch Moon, everybody loves the Kit Guns for the most part, but the Catch Moon is getting magnificently nerfed, and we're gonna see what happens after that. Now, as you can see, I absolutely deleted these targets, and that is also because of the extra puncture. While puncture may not be ideal as a plus IPS, definitely not, but it still deals extra damage to heavily armored targets. It has a 50% bonus, corrosive has a 75% bonus, and I believe, my friends, I rambled on enough. These are fantastic weapons. If you prefer status chance, go for the Dex Furis. If you prefer the Lotus theme of the Dex Furis, go for this one. In my opinion, it does perform just a smidge better than the Aksomati, but if you want to go heavily into crit, the Aksomati is the way to go. You can get something like 200% extra critical chance for the Aksomati, and you're well within orange territory, and that will be a fantastic experience. Well, I do believe that pretty much covers everything. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you got any sorts of feedback for me or any sorts of comment, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Especially when it comes to suggestions about content. For example, hey Leyzar, this weapon versus this weapon. Or perhaps, how about you redo the build on that weapon? Or I would love to see a build for this Warframe. Just a couple of examples. But you can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. And if you love the content, consider supporting us via Patreon. Until next time, my friends, bye-bye.